Prologue. Men and elves believe power is concentrated beneath the crown of the royal head of their king. But the king is no more than a captive to the will of men or elves who crave influence and hide in the shadows of his authority. So, when the king dies or is overthrown, they can continue to thrive with impunity. I was chosen by the elven gods to enter the realm of elves and men because I rule over creatures on the borderline of insanity. They deemed me overqualified for the task laid before me. My mission was to unite the kingdoms of men with the nation of elves against a demon who falsely claimed to be a god. To assist me with my monumental task, they chose a human druid serving as an advisor to the elven king. The man was as mentally stable as a late fall leaf clinging to its mother branch. He was gifted with blue magic, derived from the stone table in Remington. To make a long story short, anything obtained from the stone table is based on evil, and evil makes men mad, bitter and morbid. My assistant was suicidal. The Empress explained all I needed to do is heal him from the blue magic, then he would guide me into the kingdoms of men. This monumental task was doomed to fail because men hated elves and the elves distrusted man. But if these two factions did not unite, they would be overrun, enslaved, then systematically slaughtered. Powerful men and elves were offered gold by the envoys of the false demon god Bela, to convince their ruling kings to bend their knee before their benevolent conqueror. Failing to do any less, their people would be mercilessly exterminated. Prudent men and elves know evil cannot be appeased. It only grows stronger, and its unreasonable demands are unrelenting. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the half-wit chosen by the elven gods to perform this impossible task. I am the queen of the Green Realm, and my kingdom is reflected in the northern lights. The elven people respectfully humble themselves before my statues they call guardians, but I am not worshipped, for I am no god. I am a griffin. My authority is over all magical beasts created either by the elven gods or the gods of men. I have the wings, talons, and head of the eagle and the muscular body and tail of the lioness. Evil cannot look into my eyes or challenge my fortitude. I am a mighty huntress who knows no fear, but there is one rule I must abide. I am forbidden to kill either man or elf. Their tainted blood would corrupt me, and I would become a creature of darkness compelled to consume all life. Even the false demon god Bela would not be spared my wrath. My arrival in Avalon was expected by the elven king, his druid advisor and 20 of his best well-armed soldiers. The moment I stepped through the gates of Avalon, the gods transformed me into a human woman before slamming the gates closed behind me. I should explain my desperate situation. Humans are not permitted inside the elven sanctuary without special permission. My human appearance would be considered an insult to the elven gods, and the king would undoubtedly order my immediate execution. The gates of Avalon cannot be opened by mortal hands, which is what I now had. I did the only reasonable thing I could do at the time. I froze everything inside the sanctuary so I could beseech the elven gods to change me or remove me before I was discovered and killed. Oddly, the king's human advisor was unaffected by my magic. He coached me down from my hiding place, then convinced me to unfreeze the king and his soldiers. Reluctantly I agreed. I am an immortal creature impervious to pain and fear, but I trembled like a child before the elven king. Not only was I burdened to suffer a mortal body but also its emotions. The king's advisor thought I was cold, so covered me with his cloak, moments before I released the king and his soldiers from my spell. Now the elven king was kind-hearted, and he was no fool. His anger by my presence was visibly apparent, and to be seen covered by his advisor's cloak immediately brought him under suspicion. for the king's advisor was also a human druid gifted with magic. It was this man I was sent to heal and bestow a mighty gift. The druid's name was Talon. He was not a handsome man, but he was tall and robust. His dark hair fell to his shoulders, and his sharp angular face was softened by a full beard trimmed short. His eyes hinted of his amusement and curiosity about me, but his thoughts revealed he was far more dangerous than the armed soldiers in the sanctuary. His staff shielded him from the effects of my spell, and he knew it. Yet he remained perfectly calm and in control of the situation. He lured me to trust his counsel despite my apparent predicament. A human woman standing uninvited in the elven sanctuary wearing the druid's cloak before the elven king and 20 furious soldiers. I chose to trust the king's advisor. The worst I would suffer would be released from the mortal body, so I could return to my realm and attend my garden, then forget the entire affair. The king did not order my immediate execution, though my arrival in Avalon was welcomed by a jeering mob. The king's advisor disappeared while I was quickly escorted out of sight. My empress convinced the druid I was there to gather and return stolen creatures to the realm of the gods. This gave me an excuse to evaluate the situation and heal the druid from the effects of the blue magic. The druid drowned his sorrows in a poisonous brew served nightly by his friend Kaline. I warned him the consumption of the so-called tavern special would turn his liver into mush. Instead of thanking me for my sound advice, he took offense and attempted to avoid me. I was given no choice but to request the druid escort me throughout the elven lands to collect the assorted creatures. This gave me an opportunity to heal him. Initially, he despised me and criticized everything I said and did. He was impressed by the griffin but suspicious why I needed his help. Not to mention, why the elven gods sent a human woman through the gates of Avalon and not an elven one. I avoided answering his questions, which he found infuriating. But the longer we remained together, new thoughts crossed his mind. Ideas I initially thought insulting, crude, and maniacal. It was downright embarrassing. Then one day he invited me to walk the beach below his cottage on the coral-rich bay. After a slight skirmish with a small dragon, Talon was accidentally tossed into the frigid waters. He led me up to his cottage to change clothing, then attempted to assault me. One kiss led to another, and suddenly I was beginning to enjoy his touch. When a griffin chooses a mate, they remain faithful throughout eternity. I told the man he could not know me until he learned my name. Only then could I be claimed. He took this quest to heart and sought the counsel of the elven gods, who eventually answered it. My name was hidden in magic stardust stored in a maple leaf. Once it was torn open, the dust would rise and write my name across the sky. Talon asked my permission before releasing the stardust, promising if I did not love him he would walk away. There was no denying I had fallen in love with him, so I permitted him to open the leaf. My name is Seraphina. I am the ruling queen of the Green Realm and loyal servant to the elven gods. I have come to unite the kingdoms of men and the elven nation under one banner. I am a griffin, but I'm also the wife of the druid Talon. Together we are an imposing force to be reckoned with. Join us as we prepare to enter the kingdoms of men.